Hello everyone, welcome back to Woke Witch Tarot. I am so excited to be doing another personal reading for you today. I want to thank you so much for coming back to this space. If you're new here, welcome. I hope that you find that it is somewhere that you'd like to stick around. If you are a returning subscriber, hello from beautiful and sunny San Francisco. I hope that you guys are having a great weekend by the time that you see this particular video, and that you're taking care of yourselves, mind, body, and soul, right? For today's pick a card, I thought it would be fun to do a pick a card on your future children. Now, if you have watched my future spouse pick a card, you know that I love to get in depth with these particular readings, and this one is no exception. I'm going to try to be quicker than normal, but I do like to get as much information for you as possible, okay? We've got a lot of tools and cool things that we're going to be doing for this particular video. I've got the dice out, I've got our pendulum here today, oracle cards, tarot cards, I've got some personality traits, charms, tiles, you name it, we got it over here, okay? Fresh flowers, the whole shebang. Really quickly before we get started, I wanted to mention two things. The first is in regards to gender, right? Actually, first, if you don't want children, you're probably on the wrong video, okay? Click off now before you drive yourself insane, okay? In regards to gender, I understand that gender is something that is quite personal. So if I make any reference to male or female, please know that I do not do that at the exclusion of anybody, or my purpose is certainly not to offend. I will only point those things out when they are in the face value of the cards. Take from that what you will, okay? In addition, I wanted to let you know that obviously these are general readings, which means that they're not going to resonate with everybody. If you'd like a personal reading, you can always feel free to reach out to me on my website here or linked in the description down below. I would love the opportunity to do a personal reading for you. Lastly, I did put some merchandise, if I could just do a shameless plug really quick, because I love to be able to get more tools for the channel. A couple of merchandise items that I'm starting to kind of build up. Any recommendations on stuff like that, please let me know. I'd be happy to integrate that into the channel for you. And somebody has been asking me over and over and over again how they can buy me a cup of coffee, because I feel bad about watching these readings and not contributing. And I have to say that your view alone is a contribution. I get so many messages that talk about how much the readings resonate with them and affect them, and that is payment enough. But if you would like to buy me a cup of coffee, I have linked my PayPal down below as well. I will never mention that again, okay? There you have it for the person that asked. All right, let's get into the piles that we have for you to pick from. I have a couple of little charms from a baby crib mobile, the first is this little star. It's a little crunchy, right? It's a little shooting star that goes on a musical mobile, okay? The second item is this little cluster, which is a planet, okay? A little empty, empty, hollow inside with a little bit of a pebble in there, right? The third item is this sun, which doubles as a bit of a teething ring, okay? And then the fourth is this little cloud with a rattle in it. Very, very adorable. We're going full kawaii theme today, okay? So this is pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Feel free to take a moment if you need to in order to meditate and ask the universe which one you should pick. But if you are ready, feel free to fast forward to the times that I have listed over here somewhere, or you can feel free to click on the timestamps that I have linked in the comments down below. Okay, again, pile 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, I will see you at whatever pile you picked. Alrighty, if you picked mobile item number 1, this cute little shooting star, then this is the reading for you. on your future child or children. Okay, first off the bat, with this star, you certainly could be dealing with an air sign, a child. I get Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius with this, the idea of being in the sky, of air, right? Also, the star card is Aquarius in particular, so certainly this could be an Aquarius child. The expression on this little star is one that is quite happy, content in these small things, and there's something so cuddly about this particular charm. I feel like you're just going to want to squeeze whatever child this is when they come into the world, okay? Somebody that has just a happy disposition at all times. A really, really happy baby. I see that for a lot of you with this child, you're not going to go through those periods of the terrible twos and things like that. You're always going to look back on this particular child and say, wow, what an easy baby that was, right? It doesn't have to be an air sign. Certainly you could be an air sign, but I thought I would mention that, okay? Let's start with the dice, and let's go over how many children you might have. I'm going to roll 2 dice, and I'm going to give you the range between both, okay? I don't like to give a specific number because I feel like that's a bit limiting, right? I'd like to give a range instead on like what is on the spectrum of possibilities for you there. For pile number 1, please. For pile number 1, please. So between 3 and 5 children in your future, a busy bee. You've set your sights pretty high there. I'd like to ask, using the pendulum, when it is that you will have the first child. I have 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and 6 years from now. Obviously, if you're not of age to have children, then this particular portion might not apply to you. But let's see, for pile number 1, please. When will they start to have children, please? When will they have their first child? Let's see what we get from that. Within 2 years from now. Very, very nice. Coming quick. You better get all your baby proofing done. You'd be surprised at how quickly all the to-do list can add up, right? When you are getting ready to have a child. Let's see what we can find out about these particular children, okay? For pile number 1, please, what can you tell me about these particular children? I love to give some indication of when with the pendulum, right? Because if you're looking to get into a relationship, for example, and you're not in one, the pendulum saying within 2 years from now you'll conceive your first child, that would give you some indication of when it is that you might be coming into union, okay? For pile number 1, please, what can you tell me about their future children, please? Can you tell me, please, about the future children for pile number 1, please? If you've watched this channel, you know that I like to only take jumpers and flickers, so I ask that you be patient with me during those shuffles. All right. Ooh-wee. A couple things. First, we have the card of fate that has appeared, and what a great card. I always hold these up in order to get you to see the details on the cards, okay? This card of fate is so beautiful. This shows me that this is destiny. This is destined to happen. I mean, obviously that's why we're here, right? But with this beautiful egg, I see that this birth is fated. I had mentioned before a nod to perhaps an easy baby, but I see that this will be a fairly easy pregnancy for you as well. There's this idea of this egg landing gently on this beautiful pillow, a moment of celebration, right? It almost looks like there's fireworks coming out from behind where this little egg sits. This nod to the simplicity of it. I also get that there's something quite natural about it. You're not going to have issues here with this process and with bringing them into the world. Also, the idea that perhaps they are easy in regards to they just like to sit around, right? Some babies can be a little bit more temperamental, and I see here that this is a baby that will kind of just like glide into your life. I feel too for some of you that might be worried, like, will this ever happen? There's this idea that fate will land you on this pillow of destiny, softer than you thought, almost like a nod to not despair, to not get frustrated, that your egg is coming, okay? Your egg is coming. Your little babies are coming. With the Get Creative card, this certainly could be somebody with a creative spirit, somebody, no wonder we pulled the Star card, right? Perhaps this person will become somebody that is very well known. Certainly the creativity is going to be important to nurture in this particular child, right? Bright, bold colors, big letters to play with, exploration, right? I also get something in regards to the heart of a certain sensitivity here. This is going to be a very intuitive child as well. They're going to be able to tap into something that feels almost like a borderline genius, okay? There's something about them that is very connected with the intuition, the moon symbol here. And I can tell from this card that they are going to have wings, and in essence, somebody that might leave the nest a little bit more quickly. I see somebody that is quite independent. Certainly that could be a nod to why they're not fussy, right? Because they can do on their own. They're okay with being left to their own devices, okay? I see too that this is going to be somebody that really enjoys traveling, because I see wings everywhere here. This is somebody that's going to love going on family vacations. Your children are going to absolutely get a kick out of going to see grandma and grandpa, even if it's just a couple of hours of a drive. I see a car full of like enthusiastic children that are so excited to see what's outside of their neighborhood, okay? With these children as well, I get the sense that they're not going to be the type of children that you can put in a box. So if you have a certain standard of conformity, know that your children are going to be very different from you. With the Get Creative card, the imagery of all the wings, and also this Get Wild card, these are people that are, they're going to want to think outside of the box, okay? They don't want to be held down by anybody else's dogma, and they will find their own true path, their true calling to what they feel really resonates with them and with their soul. There's something quite, I almost feel so in tune with how fragile life can be, right? To make a celebration out of every day that you possibly can, and to live your life according to your truth, to your path, okay? With the shadow card here, again, another nod to their easygoing nature, right? This is Scorpio energy for me specifically, but it's very much like the Hanged Man imagery, so they could be a Pisces as well, right? One of your children could be a Pisces also, because we see this bat hanging upside down, and this orb of illumination hangs underneath its head, as in somebody that has done that work, right? It very much like the Hanged Man card in the tarot. With this shadow card, this is somebody that can dive very, very deep into the darkest recesses of who they are and come out of that, bring tools out of that, instead of just wallowing in the pain that we all experience throughout the course of our lives, right? This is somebody that will, your children are people that will grow from this and learn from this. And in fact, I almost see them accessing something from this in order to transmute it into a creative task, a creative endeavor of some sort. Where some people's pain and wounds might give them pause, might make them languish a bit, right? Can knock them down. I feel like your children, you're going to be able to raise them in a way that very much gives them a different perspective, where they understand, like, what can I do with this instead of it holding me back? How do I let this shadow, these bad things, give me wings? Okay, with the card of reflection here, again, another nod. Your children might very well be gifted in themselves. Okay, they could be into things like the tarot, right? The esoteric, metaphysical. They could very much be into, I feel like they know things before they happen. This is this image of this third eye being activated, right? I see too that with this shadow card, they're able to reflect on what they've learned within the shadow and transmute that into something beautiful, into something vibrant, again, something that gives them wings and that helps them to really harness in on this creativity. I get stories that deeply touch people and resonate with people. Okay, you might be raising some very well-known creatives in your little family here. Okay, I also see here with this card, and the fate card, this idea that your children are your soulmates. They are yours. There's no need to worry about if they will come. They are here. They are a part of your fate, your destiny. It's like you and your children will find each other, right? In all of the cosmic noise, you will find each other. I see too that you will have a very balanced relationship with your children, and there's this idea of you guys reflecting one another, your values, your upbringing, right? How to treat other people. I get like a nod to like a respect for the world, a strong moral compass. Okay, your values will be reflected in your future children, and that will make you great friends in their later years in life. These are children that will take care of you when you're older, right? They will show up to be there for you, which is so beautiful. Okay, the only I don't want to say red flag, but I do see that with this get wild card being at the center, right? You might get some phone calls in regards to these particular children, right? As they're going to school, perhaps a schoolyard bully, and they were the ones that put a stop to that, right? And you get a call from the principal saying, sir or ma'am, your child got a little too wild today, got a little rowdy. Okay, but I feel like that all spawns from this a deep-rooted moral compass. Okay, they might party a little bit in their teen years, right? So certainly you might have to guide them back on the path if they get a little too wild. Okay, very interesting. Let's see what else I can get in regards to your future children's personality. For pile number 1, please. What else can you tell me for pile number 1? Pile number 1's future children, please. Can you tell me, please? Pile number 1 is future children, please. Ah, that one came out in reverse. Very interesting. So we have the Emperor, the 5 of Cups, the King of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Hanged Unicorn, the Hanged Man reversed here. Okay, very interesting. First, as I had mentioned, there's something very there's almost something borderline stubborn about your children, but in a very good way. These are not people that will follow the crowd. Your children are very much self-starters. They're incredibly independent. I feel that there's something, they're natural born leaders, okay? You could be an entrepreneur or a business owner yourself, or by the time these children come into the world, you have this insight of, I know I will have my own business at some point, right? And they could learn this from you, from the parent, right? On how to be a boss, how to take charge of your life, right? I get somebody with a schedule, like children that grow up to be schedule keepers, right? Even if they don't work for somebody else, they keep a rigorous daily schedule. They get up at 5, they go on a run from 5:30 to 6:30. They make their breakfast smoothie at 6:30 sharp. They get in the shower at 7. Very regimented, I'm getting here. And I don't feel like that's how you're raising them. I feel like it's more just their who they're fated to be. Okay, they know that they have a big calling, and again, I get this idea that perhaps they will be somebody that is well known within the world. Okay, they will be these shooting stars. They are shooting for the stars in their goals. This is somebody that's going to need a lot of support in regards to doing things that they are considered young for their age to do. For example, get ready to start, YouTubing how to build a lemonade stand, right? Because these are the types of children that will be young entrepreneurs. They're going to want to start a lawnmower business to mow people's lawns, right? This is the kind of child that you will have, very proactive, interested in money early, saving early, right? Moving out, going to a good college, whatever the path they choose, they're going to probably do it in advance of other children their age, okay? You're raising some quite independent children here. I also see here that you will probably need to save for at least 2 of these children, okay? You will need to save for what might be an expensive education if you're interested in helping them in that regard, okay? Because I almost get the sense that perhaps 2 of them in particular will go to like an Ivy League school, or may actually end up in a technical school like MIT or something, where the cost can be a bit high, okay? So start planning that early. With the 5 of Cups here, I see very much children that are in tune with the struggles of people in the world, and that comes down to how they were raised, right? It's one thing to be able to see pain, it's another thing to empathize with it. And I see that you have very empathic children here, and that doesn't surprise me, because as I had mentioned, I feel for this particular pile that there is something quite gifted in these children. They're incredibly intuitive, and so they can sense other people's pain. And I think that they craft stories or whatever creative work that these children will do. I think that they are able to access kind of that, the suffering of human life, right? And people connect with them on that level. There's something about a unique gift that they have to zero in on the things that pain the world, and to be able to elaborately tell that story in some capacity creatively, okay? With the King of Wands here, again, another nod to passion, another nod to creativity, okay? I also see here somebody that, children that don't hesitate on the things that they're passionate about. Again, I had mentioned they're going to want to do things early. They're going to start thinking about business ideas early. Again, that lemonade stand, right? You might think that it's something just cute and, oh, my kid wants a lemonade stand, but they're serious. They might have like a clipboard out there, right? Bossing other kids in the neighborhood around. They move quickly. They're not indecisive, okay? They know what they want, and they go for it. I feel like your children children will have a sense at a very young age what it is that they want to do in their life. So it'll be necessary to really embrace their differences and to show them, I support you in whatever it is that you choose to do, so that they don't feel any pressure on not following their true path, their true calling, okay? With the Queen of Pentacles here, I see these as money-minded children, okay? They will grow into children that have a savings account. They have a checking account. They know how to balance a checkbook. I know some adults that don't even know how to balance a checkbook, okay? Your children will learn that at a very young age. They will be very good with money. You give them an allowance, and where other children might go buy a bunch of candy, they will save a certain portion of it. Interesting. I also got here charity. Your children will perhaps something you instill in them. They might even set aside a little bit of their allowance to put in a charity jar, right? To give back some of that. That's just a nod to how connected they are with the collective, with people around them, completely selfless, and that is so beautiful. My hat's off to you, because children like this come from very special environments, and obviously you are the type of person that can really nurture that in somebody, and that is so beautiful. With the Hanged Unicorn reversed here, I get the sense here again that they are a little bit wild. They don't like to be put in a box. They love to fly. They love to move. This person, every week you're like, which part of the world are you in right now? And they might call you and say, Mom or Dad, you're like, where are you? And they wake up in a hotel and they're just like, I don't know, like last week I was in Japan, and this week where the company's doing this, and they pick up and they go. I see too that they are going to have a very expansive friend circle, okay? Not somebody that stays stagnant in their life. They move forward. They use too, I see like a sponge. It's almost like their little charm here, right? Like they just soak things up. They always want to learn, not just stuff on the surface, but the things beneath the surface. If I have a watch on my wrist, I don't want to just know the time. I want to take the watch apart and see how the dials work on the inside and how everything is connected. I would not be shocked if your future children, at least one of them, likes taking apart computers and putting computers back together, or like building their own computers. I had mentioned MIT in this when I had mentioned education, right? And how you might need to save a little bit for that kind of education, right? And it's interesting that I got this thing about taking computers apart and putting them back together, something very technical, almost like robotics. And I know that MIT is a school that is very big on things like that, on robotics and techie type stuff, okay? Very interesting. You could even be raising one of these children to be like a tech tycoon, right? Silicon Valley. Think things along that line. Very interesting. Let's see what else we can get in regards to their personality. We do have Aries energy here, and Pisces again. Charismatic, cheerful. Didn't I mention that with that beautiful little smile? Very intelligent children, like beyond intelligent, okay? There's something, I can sense it in the energy, just super analytical. And they don't suffer fools gladly. Your children won't be prone to like scams and fraud and things of that nature. They can sense when people around them do not have good intentions, okay? We have intelligent, we have scholarly, again, this idea that you're going to be forking out some money for Ivy League education. They're very studious. They like to learn. Venturesome, again, another nod to perhaps being a venture capitalist in Silicon Valley, or owning their own business, their own company, really needing you as a parent to nurture that in them, that independence, right? Very disciplined, as I had mentioned, a strict schedule, right? Somebody that, children that it's like, why are you awake on a weekend at 5 a.m.? And they're like, I got things to do, Mom. And you're like, you're 5. Why do you have a list of things to do? Okay. I see that here. They're very, very disciplined. I see educated here again, another nod to education. Tasteful, the way that they treat other people. Leader again, and another confirmation here with gifted. They have their own special gifts, and that is going to really help them in their life, because I see that they will be exposed to a lot of people that want what they have, and their ability to kind of sense people out with their spidey senses, right? And be like, no, 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 I know this person is not for me. It's really going to help them to avoid any pain and suffering in the future, right? I see active here. This certainly could be somebody that's very physically active. We talked about that fast movement, right? It could be very involved in sports. And the card of being open with this 5 of Cups and the creative and reflect card, the shadow card, even this idea that they're not somebody that suppresses their feelings. They like to talk about what's on their mind. This is somebody that I, as I said, you're going to be friends with them later on in life. When they're young, they're going to need you to be a parent, right? And really support them. But when they're older, they're going to want to call you and talk to you on the phone. This is not somebody, your children are not people that you're going to have to remind them, call your mother or call your father, right? Because they already will do that. They feel a soulmate connection, a bond with you. Even when they're at a great distance, they will come and they will fly in to wrap their neck around you and be bound to you, okay? It's funny because I get such independent energy from them, but you are their weak spot. I'm getting you, the parent, is their weak spot, right? This is somebody that even in their later years, they're going to want your approval. They're going to want to know that you're happy with them. And even when they carve their own path out, I'm getting, they still want you, that nod from you that says, I'm proud, which is so sweet, right? To love somebody so much that their happiness in what they do, it means so much, your opinion, right? I think that's also a nod to the respect that they have for you. Let's see what we can get in the tiles, okay? Alrighty. I see toy right away. That doesn't surprise me. I feel like the toys that your children are going to be into are ones that make a lot of lights, sounds, again, that really furnish that creative spirit in them. I see painting, I see drawing, I see stuff that lets them express themselves, to even reflect on themselves in some capacity. I see your children as the kind of children that want to make home movies, right? They want to be the director, or like set up a play in the living room and have you watch them perform a play that they wrote and that they put together, right? Very, very creative and open in that way. I get too, there's a, like they let their inhibitions fall. You know, kids, when we're kids, we do silly things and we don't notice that people are watching us or judging us or laughing at us. And I feel like your children will be able to keep that well into adulthood, right? Dancing like nobody's watching except people are, and they just don't care because it makes them happy, which is great. I see TOYKIDLJI-OCTBDQIPEAEL. Obviously, I see Tokyo here, which is interesting. You could be watching from Tokyo. I also see October, so this could be something that happens in the month of October, okay? Let's see what else. I'm just going to pick out a couple, if a couple of words stand out to me, I'm going to mention them. I had mentioned the word toy as well. a kid, I feel like a kid at heart, right? I do see the word boy here as well. So perhaps you might have more boys than girls, okay? Um, I see lip here, which is interesting because not that I think your kids will have luscious lips or anything, right? But this idea that they have a gift, that charismatic nature, that gift of the gab, right? They're able to communicate, and that's what makes them so creative and so able to express emotion so beautifully in the work that they do. I see tots. I see like toys and like tots, as in like, what is that charity? Toys or tots for kids? Toys for kids or something like that? Toys for tots. I was getting there. Toys for Tots. Again, a nod to their charity. This is your children are going to be the type of children that when they're done with a toy, they want to take it to Goodwill, right? They want to know that somebody else is getting use out of those toys. I see lead here as well, a nod to their leadership, right? Your children might be into fishing because I see the word bait here also. I see CEO, I see that boss vibe, right? Certainly could be somebody that is high up in the food chain, or an entrepreneur, okay? It's funny because I see jail here, and I don't want to make you nervous, okay? But when I saw that get wild card, and I had mentioned that they might get themselves into some trouble, okay? Think of little things, stupid little things that kids do when they make mistakes, where a police officer might call you, or drive them home and say, they were hanging out and were skateboarding where they weren't supposed to, or maybe they spray painted something, or I don't see anything serious here, but perhaps getting into a little bit of trouble there, right? Speeding, I get speeding when they're young, so just being vigilant about that, right? Very, very interesting. I also see the word quill here. I know that the U is missing, but I see quill very strongly. Again, a nod to perhaps a writer, right? This creative endeavor that some of your children will partake in as well. Let's see what we can get with the charms. Alrighty. Okay, first, your children will be close to one another. I see big brother, big sister. I see this idea of like the collective. They understand how to take care of one another. These are children that you're going to know. When I depart, they are going to take care of one another. They are going to be a very close-knit family, with or without me, which is quite beautiful. I see this little mouse here. I feel like this is a nod to them as a child, right? Quiet as a mouse. I almost get this idea of them just again being a very easy temperament, always content, always happy. You're getting quite lucky here, pile number one. I see a reindeer here. Perhaps they love the idea of Christmas, right? And this beautiful tree connected with the circle, this idea of generations, right? You're raising children that through generations will keep very strong bonds with their family. They will be connected to their aunts, to their uncles, to their grandparents. And again, when you get older, they will take care of you. They want that kind of they want that deep connection, okay? I see a ribbon here, perhaps a nod to a girl specifically. Obviously, ribbons can be for boys too, but I almost get this like a bow in hair, or a beautiful bow on a dress or something like that, okay? I see this hand here with that with the eye symbol, right? A nod to their psychic gifts, to their intuitive gifts, okay? With this triangle, I see this idea of being balanced, but I also see this technical side, somebody that perhaps is very good at math, right? Very good at geometry and things of that nature, that intelligence that I had mentioned earlier. Across here, so perhaps raised spiritually, religiously, excuse me, or will take that faith later on down the line, okay? I see a little hand mixer here. And for me, this hand mixer is two things. One, you might feel inclined, right, for your children to make their own baby foods, right, and put them in those little jars. You blend everything up for them, everything organic, right? That certainly could be the type of parent that you plan to be. But I also get quality time with baking, right? Your children will want to be with you in the kitchen and learn from you on how to cook. I see a lot of messes for you to clean up in your kitchen. I'm so sorry to tell you, pal. Number one, make sure you have a lot of paper towels in your house, because I see cookie dough all over the counter. This is somebody that is going to take an interest in cooking. Perhaps one of them could even end up being a chef, right? The way to their heart is definitely through their stomach, and sometimes I wonder if they'll come home with a pile of laundry just for your cooking. Nobody cooks spaghetti like mom does or dad does, right? Nobody makes a shepherd's pie like my parents do, right? This idea that their future spouse is going to have to compete with one of you. One of you is going to be a very good cook, and they're always going to come home for that home cooked meal. I see dinosaurs here, perhaps something of an interest of theirs, right? When they're younger, I almost see one of them dressing up as a dinosaur for Halloween, which is quite interesting, right? Another charm here with religious iconography on it. Perhaps again a nod to them being connected in that way. Even here, look at this. I didn't even realize I had these many charms that had this on there, a cross with a heart in it. Perhaps that spirituality, that religious connection that they have, their higher power that they believe in, right, is something that they will hold very, very close to their heart. They could be traditional in this particular sense, okay? We have a scarecrow here. Again, I see them as a protector. I see them as protecting one another as siblings. But not just that. I had mentioned that example of a bully before, and they're the kind of kids that will stand up against injustice in that way. This came out like this, and certainly upside down, this token always reminds me of the Hanged Man. Again, Pisces energy specifically, okay? Certainly could be a Pisces. I think too, these two birds, they speak of like fate, they speak of destiny, right? Like these children are your soulmate and you're their soulmates, okay? This hand of love, I get first that it's like when you hold them, you feel like, okay, this is what it's like to hold love in my hands. But I also get from this, I get that they might be very into crafts, right? Handmade, made with love. I see that here very strongly with the love charm. Another charm about love, again, you guys are going to be so close. This particular blue, perhaps a nod to a water sign energy. Red here with the could be fire sign as well, right? You're not escaping food and pies and desserts with this, with these children, okay? I hope you know how to bake, because they're going to want those beautiful home-cooked meals. I see here a leaf. I had mentioned October perhaps as the month that you have this first child in, and certainly this would be a nod to that foliage, right? More food, pizza parties, okay? I see them having pizza parties. You know what's interesting is I got sports again. We had gotten the active card, and I wonder if they are on a team where, like, when they win a baseball game or something like that, they go out for pizza. I'm thinking Chuck E. Cheese's. I'm thinking, what's that place that, I cannot remember the name of that place. I know that my brother, when they used to have baseball games, they'd go to this pizza place. I can't remember the name, but you get the general idea. And then this swan, I feel like this swan, honestly, is a nod to the grace, the empathy, the softness and the respect and the moral compass with which they treat other people with. It's ingrained into them to be this graceful. Certainly with that nod to spirituality or to gifts or connection to spirit source, whatever it is that they end up believing in here, that will help them to move through the world with all of that beautiful, beautiful grace. Wow, what a reading. I hope that this resonated with you. I'm very much looking forward to seeing your thoughts on this particular reading. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you gained something from the reading, that you found it of value. And I wish you so much luck in saving for these children's college funds. Alrighty, you guys, that is it for me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Alrighty, if you picked the charm number 2, the mobile number 2, this is the reading for you on your future child or children, okay? Now you have picked this little planet. It looks a little bit like a moon, right? This idea of like the craters on it. And it's quite empty, it's quite hollow inside, but there's something, a bit of a seed there, right? Now certainly your child could be an earth sign in particular, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. I also see this very much as somebody that is an earth angel, somebody that is meant to protect the world in some capacity, the earth, the climate, somebody that could very much love the great outdoors, looks up at the stars and dreams. Perhaps you're raising a little astronaut, okay? This idea of wanting to go into the great expanse and to travel and to search for things that are past what we know, right? Somebody, a little Elon Musk, maybe a little rocket scientist that you're raising here. This idea of wonder, though, very much stands out to me, right? The idea of looking out into the universe and wondering what is out there. How can we get to it, right? This person could very well be in the sciences, right? They could be very interested in science and astronomy. But I also get the idea of being very cautious about how we treat the earth that we're on now, right? The planet that we are on now. And perhaps even being vegan or vegetarian, somebody that is an activist for climate change or for how it is that we care for the planet. I love that there's this little seed inside, a little bob in there that makes noise when you shake it. I feel like this is your future child or children will be a person that very much might be quiet, but there's something going on inside at all times. That I get like wheels moving, wheels churning, right? This idea that they're always thinking about something, they're always planting seeds in their mind, very contemplative, perhaps a bit of a independent, right? They don't do well in large groups. They like to stay within themselves. I get even when they are alone, there's a rich internal world inside of your future children. This blue color here, I feel is a nod to their soothing demeanor. There's something quite calm about them, right? Hospitals often paint their walls blue because blue is a very calming color, the color of the ocean, of water. There's something quite relaxing about their aura, about their person. And there's something quite unassuming about them too. This is a person that people like to talk to, tell their problems to. They feel very at ease in your future children's presence. Very, very interesting. Now you certainly could be an earth sign as well, okay? I'm going to roll some dice here for you. And we're going to get a range on how many children you might have. I like to do ranges instead of a firm number because something like this is so fluid, right? You could change your mind at any time and have more, or change your mind and have less. So I like to give a range. Let's see what we get for you. For pile number 2, please. A 1. For pile number 2, please. How many children? And a 5. So between 1 and 5 children, a big gap, but know that there is a flexibility there for you, okay? But you will have a handful, okay? Very, very nice. I'm going to use the pendulum now, and I'm going to ask the question of when it is that you are going to have your first child or your next child, if you're looking at this from a perspective of any children that you will have in addition to the ones that you already do, okay? We're going to go by years from the moment that you watch this video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, all right? Let's see. It's getting there. One of the reasons that I like to use the pendulum for this is because I find that if you are not in a relationship right now, right, this can give you an indication of when it is that you will be in a relationship. So the number 2 here, 2 years from now is when you'll be having your first child. So that will give you an indication, if you're not in a relationship currently, that something might be coming in very, very quickly. Okay, obviously there are many ways to be a parent, adoption even. So that could be an option for you as well, okay? Let's see what we can get in regards to your future children's personalities. Anything that I can pick up from the cards in regards to how they are as people, okay? As you know from my readings, I generally only take jumpers and flippers unless I feel incredibly compelled to do something different. So I ask that you be patient with me in the shuffle. I love that card came out first. We'll obviously get into each one specifically as I get them out. For pile number 2, please, what can you tell me about their future children? For pile number 2, please. I had mentioned they're being quiet, right? But something going on inside. I can almost feel that energy of I almost wonder if there's something about expression that will be very interesting about your child, right? This idea that they hold a lot inside. You're going to have to dig out of them how your day was, how what are you doing in school. There's something so quiet about them. What can you tell me, please, for pile number 2's future child, please? Oh my God, I love that. This card wanted to show its face as well. At the bottom of the deck, you have the card of the Magi, the magician, somebody that is very in tune with their own intuition, but also in tune with the fact that they are their own magician, right? They are the person that can determine what path they take and how far they can go. I love that the card of the universe has come out front and center because it's so much like our little token here, right? This idea of wanting to go out into space. You might have an actual astronaut here on your hands, okay? The idea of distant, faraway galaxies and multiple universes. Perhaps they're into even science fiction, right? This is somebody that might, when they're young, have stars and constellations on their ceiling, or those beautiful little lights that light up that put planets on the ceiling as you sleep, right? Like a little night light. I see that here. This is somebody that has a very deep connection with the cosmos. I would not be shocked if your future child is into astrology or into the tarot as well, okay? They are manifestors. They understand that the universe gives what you give to it, that you can channel, that you can affirm things into your life, that you can manifest things into your life. They have that power, and they know that from their hand, the universe dangles, as in they can draw anything towards them that they feel empowered to have, or like they feel is their destiny, okay? Very, very beautiful. I see somebody that is very cultured, very worldly, world traveler here. Again, this idea of exploration is very important to your future child. And here's something quite interesting too. I laughed, I giggled a little bit when this Get Wild card came out. And the reason is because you're going to have a little bit of a troublemaker on your hands in their youth. Not in a bad way, right? This isn't like a Chucky movie or anything like that. I just mean that they are going to get into things they're not supposed to get into. You're going to have to keep a watchful eye on these ones, okay? Perhaps this idea of the two skulls, right? A terrible twos, where they want to go into every kitchen cupboard and explore and see what's in there. I know mommy said and daddy said not to go in there, but I want to know what is in the cabinet that I'm not supposed to be in, right? This is the kind of the kind of child that wants to perhaps even like sleep in a tent in the backyard. There's this idea of wonder, of fun. I see here too, I thought a flower child, this idea of freedom, right? A certain freedom of theirs where they want to walk around naked all the time, right? And it's like, well, okay, you're 5 now, so that's you're gonna have to start putting some clothes on eventually. This is going to be your children are going to be no pants children, okay? They want to walk around in just a diaper and to be free and to there's something very like connected to the earth. I see so many barefoot little feet on grass, right? They're gonna love the park. They're going to love going out on trips into nature, okay? They're going to love going on family trips as well. There's this idea of like getting out of the box thinking here. And we see that here with the Get Creative card, okay? They're going to push you. They're going to try you when they're younger. Okay, so meditation. I see meditation in your future, trying to get that Zen back, right? But I also see a lot of fun here as well. Giggling, laughing, tickle fests, pillow fights. There's something just so exuberant and full of energy with this, with your children. I really, it makes me smile because I can feel like the giddiness inside of them, always looking to get into something, okay? Again, with the Get Creative card here, they certainly could be in tune with their creativity. They could end up doing something quite creative when they get older. Another nod to travel here with the wings, this idea of freedom, of out-of-the-box thinking. This is a child that you're going to want to nurture in a way where they have bold, bright colors around them. They have access to markers and paints. Somebody that likes to play with clay and wants to learn how to make ceramics, right? They make their own handmade Halloween costumes, right? There's something quite crafty about your future children. I see cameras too, which is interesting. Perhaps they'll get a little camera, right? One of those little one-click cameras when they're a kid, and they like to take pictures of things. They could even eventually become a photographer or work in movies or something like that, right? This idea of I get a strong visual of a camera. Very interesting. That could be how they express themselves creatively through pictures. The things that aren't said are shown, and that is how they communicate. That is how they speak. Perhaps that's why we had some trouble getting the cards out in the beginning there, right? Very, very nice. Let's see what else we can get in regards to your future children. Yes. Again, the King of Wands, passion, right? I also get fast movement, quick on their feet. You're going to have to, you're going to have to keep a watchful eye. Baby gates everywhere, right? A lot of child-proofing here. Putting stuff that is dangerous up high because they're going to want to get in it. I see them like climbing on top of countertops and really giving you a run for your money. You're going to need a box of hair dye because these kids are going to gray your hair out. But obviously I say that in a playful way, but this idea too of just being filled with fire, filled with passion. I see too that your future children will jump at amazing opportunities. They're not afraid of the unknown. In fact, they get they get thrills from that, okay? They get thrills from jumping into things that most people are afraid of because it's outside of the norm. They will not conform. I also see, oddly enough, a very interesting form of dress. I feel like your future children will want to dress themselves at a younger age than most. And they'll put together these outfits that seem kind of crazy on the surface, but they have a very deep meaning to them. Again, a way of communicating without exactly saying something, right? There's a silent communication in how they carry themselves, in how they dress. They could even work in fashion, and that's why I got that photography, right? That the idea of pictures. They could photograph models and things of that nature when they're older. Very, very interesting. I also get the idea of being in and out. I see like kids like jetting past you, and you're like, what, where are you going? What's happening, right? They're constantly moving, very active too. I see sports in your future children's future, okay? With death here, this is Scorpio energy specifically, and somebody that is very good with transformation. And I see too here, there's this, when I say in tune with the universe, that's highs and lows, ups and downs, light and dark, good and bad, right? There's something about them in regards to death specifically, where they're very in tune with that energy, with perhaps they feel like they're gifted in some sense in that regard as well, right? Perhaps they're fascinated with the finality of life, asking the big questions here of what happens when you die? Is there an afterlife? This is somebody that I see as very inquisitive, okay? I also see this idea of travel as in they want change, they want transformation, they want death and rebirth. They're constantly reinventing themselves. This is the kind of children that you'll come home one day, and all of a sudden you realize that they've shaved their head into a mohawk and they've dyed the edges pink or something like that, right? And you're like, my goodness, like, why would you do something like that? And it's just the way that they express themselves, right? They love that change. There's something almost like edgy about your future children. I see too with death here, I see this idea of them being very deep thinkers. Very, very deep thinkers. Again, you don't see it on the surface, but there is something deep happening within them that where they contemplate the scale I'm getting of the universe, okay? This is the kind of person that in the middle of dinner, while everybody's talking about how things are at school, they'll ask some deeply profound and like philosophical question, and you'll think to yourself, how did this little person come out of me, right? They're so deep and so insightful. There's a certain wisdom that I'm getting from them. Let's see what else we have. The Queen of Wands. Very much this idea that you guys are counterparts. You could be a fire sign, right? And you could have a fire sign child. This idea that they are very connected to you, right? With the King and the Queen of Wands here. I see too this nod to siblings being very, very close to one another. A very tight-knit family that you have here, okay? Again, they will go for what they want. The Queen of Wands knows what she wants, and she goes for it, right? Certainly somebody that is not afraid, very self-confident. There's going to be a definite need from you as a parent to continually encourage them, right? And fill them with those thoughts of you can do anything. If they say, I want to be an astronaut, the response to that is, well, being an astronaut is hard. They need, you can do anything. Even if you want to live on Mars, eventually we'll get there, right? You'll be the one that finds the way to do it. They are going to want that kind of encouragement, okay? With strength here, I had mentioned, right, that they could be very physically active. This is Leo energy here. And I see here, too, that they could be very athletic, into sports, buff or lean, right? There's something about the care for the body that is quite important. Pardon my dog sneezing. He's got to make an appearance in every video. It's his 15 minutes, okay? He takes advantage of it every time I'm recording, so I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, with this strength here, I see them as somebody really strong. You know, it's funny too, I get this quote here about in regards to what it is that they choose to tame about themselves, this idea that the greatest foe that you can defeat is within. Right? They're not looking to one-up anybody else. They're looking to be better than they were the day before. Something that certainly you could instill in them in some capacity. You know what's interesting too is Normally with these wings, I certainly think about freedom. I think about travel, but for your future child in particular, I wonder if aviation will be important to them. You could even raise a future pilot here, because of the idea of the galaxy of astronauts, right? But also these wings flying into the cosmos, right? Getting elevated. You could have a little pilot on your hands as well here. Very nice. With the Six of Cups, this is just a nod. This is a nod to this Get Wild card. Always in that youthful exuberance, highly energized, a certain sweet innocence to them. Almost, and it makes sense because kids are naive, right? As we grow, we learn. There's a naivety to your future children, but it's so sweet, as in they won't let the world rob them of their goodness, right? They'll always come back to this Six of Cups place. I see too this deep connection with you as a parent. You could certainly be a water sign, but I see this as somebody that always comes home. They always want to come home to mommy or daddy or both, right? They want to feel connected to family. And again, another nod to how close they are with their siblings. A very deep connection here, okay? It's almost even, you can kind of see it in the cards, like this idea of looking out for one another, holding the family together. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Ace of Cups, just love constantly overflowing, regardless of the ups and downs, everything anchored in love, okay? Very, very beautiful. Let's see what else we can get for you. Let's get some more on their personality. Even here, I'm being told, like, dig deep, dig deep. There's something, there's a depth to your future child that is quite strong, disciplined. Again, I get, there's something about them that just like refuses to quit, right? There's something about them that regardless of the obstacle, if they see it, they know I can achieve that. It is possible. Even the unseen, I'm getting like this idea of like traveling the cosmos and stuff, right? They know if I work hard enough, I can make that happen. I refuse to let the world or anybody tell me that I can't accomplish something. I see leader here as well. I see peaceful. Again, that idea of the blue, that calming demeanor, intuitive, right? That deep connection to the soul of themselves, of their family, and of the world, right? Responsible, witty, a very good sense of humor, free thinking. Yeah, we saw that, right? Fun loving, a little too much here in the youth, but don't worry, they'll grow out of it. They won't get into trouble for that long. I also see tolerant here. This is quite nice because it's just a nod to being intuitive and understanding how you can affect other people's energy. Another nod to how it is that you will raise your child, right? To be sensitive to other people's feelings and needs, and to not be selfish, okay? Neat. Now, it's funny because that came out, and certainly that speaks to order, right? And I see it in the discipline, but I don't feel like this is in regards to space, okay? I don't feel like they're like neat freaks. In fact, I see their room kind of a mess. I see you having to constantly say, clean your room, okay? I see this as neat as in their personality, their way of dress even. There's something so unique about them. They'll wear a pair of glasses that are like 5 sizes bigger than their head, and they'll look in the mirror and think, I look amazing. It's time to go out and conquer the world as a child, right? There's something so just like magnetic about them. I think that's what we mean by neat here. I definitely don't think that they're neat as in like keeping their room clean, okay? And then we have the selfless card here as well. Again, empathic, giving, somebody that puts others before themselves, and works very hard to not hurt other people's feelings. If there's a kid in the class that doesn't have a friend, your children will be the ones that will say, come sit with us. There's something very graceful about their presence, okay? Let's get some tiles. This could be first, middle, and last name initials. Alrighty. We have Joiennaka. Now, I see join here as a word, right? This idea that they want to join groups, they want to be active, they want to be out there. There's something about them that wants to experience everything, right? Even as a non talkative type of a person, they still want to be in the mix, right? They want to explore all these different areas that they can learn. Okay, I see Joe and Joey here. That could be a name that you've considered. Even like Jenna could be a name. I see Anne and Anna as well. Okay, it's funny, the S is missing, but I see noise here, a loud child in regards to their play. This is somebody that, from the living room, you can hear them giggling in their bedroom because they're making something or they're keeping themselves entertained, they're laughing with one another. I also see join here as in like joined at the hip, right? Your kids, again, being very tight knit. Okay, I also see Nana here. Perhaps your children are very connected to grandma, right? Or you could be a grandparent that is raising children, right? You could raise other people's children when you become a grandma, or this idea that they are very connected with their grandparents. Okay. Seeing if there's anything else that really sticks out to me. Oh, I see ink here also. Certainly could be a nod to this creativity. They could write, right? They could tell stories in that regard, which is beautiful. I also see nice here. The C is missing, but the word certainly pops out to me. Nice as in they just have a very pleasant, calm essence to them. Okay. Let's see what we can get for you in regards to charms. Alrighty. Our deviant moon has shown itself. Again, a little bit of a troublemaker. I don't say that in a bad way. There's something about them that almost sees it as funny when you're like, put that down, and they raise it higher, and you're like, put that down, and they raise something even higher, right? There's something like playful about it. Okay, I don't see that as a mean-spirited quality that they have. A little ballerina dress with some shoes attached. Some ballerina shoes attached at the base. Certainly this nod to creativity, right? They could be musically inclined. They could feel moved by music. They could love to dance. This idea of them being a flower child almost, right? Dancing in the yard, wanting to take ballet classes, joining in on that kind of a group. And again, this nod to expression, how they express themselves is a bit different. We have that here as well with the music symbol. They could learn to play an instrument. We have a little unicorn here. Again, just their magical nature, right? There's something so magical about them. When you look at them, you can see their eyes filled with wonder. I think too, this nod of like being out of this world. Again, perhaps a pilot or an astronaut here. We have a little cane here. I believe that this certainly could fall in line with the snowflake, right? Perhaps Christmas is their favorite holiday, and they see presents and they just get so overwhelmed, right? The idea of Christmas is fun to them. I think not just because of the gifts, right? But because of the idea of family coming together, especially if that's the time that they get to see Nana, right? They love that togetherness, everybody under the same roof, opening presents and sharing a meal together. Okay, I see a flamingo here. I can't help but be drawn to the legs. Again, this idea of grace certainly can fall in line with the dance, the idea of dance, right? But I think too, something quite exotic. I had mentioned there's something neat about them, and they're like this flamingo. They're vibrant, they're colorful. There's something about when you look at a flamingo where you say, you're so unique. There's something just so captivating about you. You are colorful, okay? I see two placards here. Certainly one of your children could join the military, right? Because I almost get this idea of dog tags here. I also, sometimes when I get these nameplates, I think of like children that have yet to be named. This idea that you might leave the hospital without being able to decide on a name for one or two of your children, right? Like, what should we name this child? Can't decide. So you take your time with it, or on the third day before you get discharged, the nurse is like, we really need a name for this birth certificate, right? So that certainly could be you look into their eyes and you're like, this child is so many things, like one name doesn't really suit them. The infinity symbol, I think a nod to the closeness in your relationship, right? Intertwined, always connected. I feel too that you'll be able to feel these children. When they have a bad day, you'll know and you will call. There's something quite as I mentioned, the gift, right? There's something quite intuitive in the way that you feel your children and that they feel you. Certainly a nod to fate as well, right? We have this little medical symbol now. Certainly some of your kids could have strict dietary needs, I'm getting. You could have a child like on the spectrum, or somebody that needs additional assistance in that regard. So somebody that might need like a specialized doctor or something like that, okay? This token of love, which obviously this is your future child. Love shared between you, a very deep-rooted love. This beautiful gold leaf here, perhaps one of these children will be born in the autumn months, right? That certainly could be the case. We have Scorpio here specifically. They could also be a Cancer because of this motorcycle, a chariot, right? A vessel with which to move with. I see this as not just a nod to them constantly changing, evolving, moving forward. But I also see this in regards to Cancer. I see it too in the Get Wild. Perhaps they ride a motorcycle and you're like, please don't do that. It's dangerous, right? But they do it nonetheless because they love the wind. They love the thrill. They love doing what is almost like taboo, right? I see too that this bike in particular is a dirt bike. So that certainly brings us back to our connection with nature here. Perhaps they like hitting the mountain trails in that way, okay? Navy wife. Again, a tie to the military here with the dog tags. I had mentioned that before. Perhaps one of them goes into the military or becomes a spouse of somebody in the military. You could certainly be a military family as well, okay? These two little birds, again, a connection between your children, always together, always watching each other's backs, looking out for one another. Two of them together on the same limb could certainly indicate twins as a possibility. Perhaps twins fall in your family tree. I see a little charm here with some paws on it, a heart shape with some paws on it. Certainly another nod to perhaps twins, right? Two, but also pet lovers, right? They're going to beg you for a dog or for a cat all the time. Can we get a pet, right? And then the peace symbol here, a nod to their peaceful nature. Peaceful had come out here as well, okay? Also that flower child reference that I had made earlier, that freedom, that barefoot walking around in the grass visual that I got there. A last charm here is our anchor. Again, a nod to water, perhaps a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces, but also anchored in, I'm getting like a truth, a morality within them, right? They could love boating. They could love going outdoors, again, a nod to nature. They could love being on the water, a little beach baby, okay? Some beach babies here. But again, another nod to travel as well. Very, very nice. Pile number 2, that was your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. Just something a little bit fun, right? Any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. If the reading resonates with you as well, please leave that down in the comments below. Thank you so much again for giving me the chance to do a reading for you and for joining me. I know that your time is valuable, so it warms my heart that you decided to spend it with me. All right. Alrighty. Stay safe out there. I hope you're taking care of yourself. And hopefully I see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Alrighty, if you picked charm number 3, this beautiful sun teething ring, then this is the reading for you on your future child or children. Okay, now right off the bat, I certainly get from this particular token that your future child or children could be a fire sign. Fire energy here, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Certainly a reminder of the sun card here specifically, right? Perhaps a Leo specifically, a happy baby. I see somebody full of fire here. I see somebody that goes for what they want, and somebody warm, charismatic, with a sweet disposition. There's something about innocence here, right? There's something about keeping that youthful glow that we see in the sun card, right? The happiest card in the tarot, and that is so representative of your future child. I also see with the fact that this is a teething ring, perhaps you'll have issues with that when they are young, when they are kids, right? This idea of terrible twos even, right, with the fire energy, somebody that gets themselves into a little bit of trouble, a very curiosity, right? And the cat, we know what happens there. A very curious child, one that wants to explore. I see somebody that perhaps likes to spend time at the beach outdoors in the sun, right? They're like a sunflower. They need sunshine to grow, okay? Somebody that will love doing outdoor activities as well with this particular token here. But overall, incredibly happy. I think too their presence will be like a light in your life, right? Let's see how many. I want to roll 2 dice for you to get a range of how many children you might have, okay? 2 and 5. So between 2 and 5 children, I like to give a range because at any moment you could change your mind and decide to have more or less, right? Fate is not final. So anywhere between 2 and 5 children for you. Very, very nice. You're going to be busy. I'm going to use the pendulum here, and I want to find out how many years from the time that you watch this video it will take before you become pregnant, or your spouse or your partner becomes pregnant with the first child in the group, okay? Again, this is in years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 years from now on when this child will be conceived. Certainly, children, right? Parenting, motherhood, fatherhood comes in many different forms. So this also could speak of adoption, okay? The number 3. So 3 years from now. I like to use the pendulum and give a date range on when this is going to happen, because it's not just about when you'll have your child. If, for example, you're not in a relationship right now, knowing that you can have your first child within 3 years from the date that you watch this video could certainly be a nod to when you'll get on track on finding a partner, right? Perhaps within the next year or 2, you find a partner and you guys fall madly in love and have a child very, very quickly. Okay, very nice. Let's see what we can get in regards to personality for your future children, okay? For pile number 3, please. As you know, I only take jumpers and flippers unless I feel very, very much compelled to pull a card manually from the deck. So I always ask that people be patient in this particular portion as we work to get our cards out, okay? What can you tell me about the personality for the children? For pile number 3, please. Of course, with our sun, that of course this play card would show its face. Very playful. Very Six of Cups here, right? With that play card. I will certainly, as we get all the rest of the cards out, I will bring each card up to the camera so that you can see it in greater detail, okay? For charm number 3, please. That one. For charm number 3, please. What can you tell me about their future children's personalities, please? For charm number 3. Number 3. Get wild. Alrighty. At the bottom of the deck, you have the card of trust. This is a beautiful card. First, I think that this is actually a bit of a nod to parenting, right? This mutual trust between you and whoever it is that you have this child with. I normally just focus on the children, but I'm being very compelled here to focus on this. I see you and your partner as people that want to parent or even co-parent, right? Something very delicate, something, a jewel, a charm, something quite valuable between you. There's going to be a very close connection between you and your spouse or your partner, whoever it is that you have this child with, whether you're with them or not, right? Because sometimes we decide to parent without being in relationships. You will have a close connection. I see your family too. This idea of like it takes a village, right? All these butterflies coming into center, coming in from different directions to support this beautiful little gem that you will have in your life, okay? All of your children here. There's a delicate dance here. I feel like there's a strong trust with your children that they have with you as a parent, okay? They feel like they can tell you anything. They can open up about anything with you. And you have instilled a strong sense of trust in them, as in being a trustworthy person. Those are the values that you have instilled in them, okay? The first card out is the card of play. We had mentioned this here. I also, if I'm not mistaken, had mentioned that they could be a beach baby, right? We have these beautiful 2 dolphins that are playing in the water here. A nod to perhaps wanting to get out into the waves, into the salt water. They could be into boating or swimming or something like that, right? A very playful demeanor to them. They love to laugh, to frolic even, right? I see too, this idea of 2 and 2 here. Perhaps some of these children could be twins. They could come as twins, right? You might want to check if there's a history of twins in your family, right? Or your future spouse's family, your spouse's or partner's family. They could be a water sign in particular. This is somebody that is going to need a lot of bath toys, okay? This idea of constantly being in the water. I see too somebody that has very deep emotions. They play where most people are afraid of the things that they can't see in the ocean. Your future children don't mind diving deep into deep emotions. There's something quite thoughtful here I'm getting. They have a gift themselves of being able to tune in to what other people are feeling. And I see here too this idea that where other people are afraid to frolic, they go deep. They go deep into their own emotions, and they're not afraid to make changes based off of what surfaces as a result, okay? I love that. There's a certain strength that it takes to do that. They could be, again, a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces as well, right? This idea. I get Pisces specifically. Anytime I see fish, I think Pisces, right? But water energy overall. Compassion at their center. As I had mentioned, this idea of their warmth, right? I feel too, there's something about them that softens you as a person. There's something quite reciprocal about the relationship that you have with your child. You teach them and they teach you. They teach you to open your heart, to find something, perhaps an innocence in yourself that you lost, a playful nature about yourself that went away, and they kind of reinvigorate that within you. A very compassionate, I'm getting not just compassionate, but empathetic, right? I always say it's one thing to understand what somebody is feeling, but to be empathetic, to feel those feelings is on another level, right? We have the card of Get Wild. Now, I had mentioned teething, right? Perhaps this idea of the twos could be a nod to some terrible twos, okay? Call in for backup, right? As we had seen in the Trust card, perhaps it's time to get Grandma and Grandpa over so we can get some sleep in those struggle years, right? When kids are born and they're more of a handful than they will be later on in life, right? With this Get Wild card, some children that do not want to be kept in a box, I always get this like free loving, free thinking, flower child vibe from this card. Kids that never want to put their pants on, right? You're like, it's time, we have to leave, put some pants on. And they just want to walk around either naked or like in a diaper all day, right? They love to put their feet into the grass, to roll around into the grass. You'll have to get some bleach pens for these children, okay? Because they're going to want to frolic. They're going to want to play. Perhaps a little bit more than they should when they get into the teens, right? You'll have to guide them in the right direction in that regard. Certainly will perhaps party a little bit, and when they get into college or something like that, right? Very exuberant, full of life here, larger than life even, I'm getting. But know that at their core, they are a good person, a sweet person, a compassionate person. I get selfless here. I get somebody that gives to charity, somebody that is involved in their community, somebody that will be a very good friend, not just to you later on in life as they develop, right, but to those around them. I almost see this idea of like leadership here. They lead other people in compassion. They could certainly do some kind of work that surrounds those issues, right? This idea of deep work, perhaps a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist of some sort. I see this idea of like almost like lending an ear, right, with these big horns here. This idea that they're listening. They've almost got like antennas up, right, to hear other people's problems. A very valuable friend to have, not just a child, but a friend to you and to the world, okay? They will have a very active social life here, the life of a party. Who wouldn't want to hang out with this, right? Just such a happy, warm expression. The warmth, too, certainly falls in line with compassion. As I said, warmth. The colors got a little bit warmer there on my little light sign there. That's a funny coincidence. Let's see what else we can get in regards to their personality. The Five of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. This idea of frolic comes to mind. Like, I even see it in the way that they run, the way that I hear like the little pitter patter of feet on the ground. There's something so like gallopy about it. There's a pep in the step, okay? I see too this idea that oh boy, they are adventurous, and certainly that's fun, right? But when they're younger, you have to keep a watchful eye on this one. They're going to want to get into trouble. They want to like get into cupboards that they're not supposed to get into. I see too you telling them like to put something down, and them daring you almost to try to stop them, right? A little cat and mouse game almost, I'm getting while you're raising them, okay? Certainly going to be days where they probably test your temperament, but all in all, I feel like even that, there's something about it that's so funny that it will make you giggle. It's something that will like end up on a viral video or something. I'm getting very interesting. The Moon, the Nine of Pentacles, yeah. I see here with the Queen of Pentacles, again, this idea of wanting to be out in nature, right? Something, they could even be like a vegan or a vegetarian when they get older, connected to organics, connected to a plant person, right? I see like plants everywhere. Perhaps that is something that they get from you. You could be very much into planting and having beautiful plants around your home, perhaps gardening even, right? I also see too that they're going to be good with money. I had mentioned charitable with the Compassion card, and the Queen of Pentacles came came out on top of that, somebody that gives, right? I see too that they're a hard worker. They're going to reach a very good level of financial success, and perhaps they'll share that with you, this idea of giving, right? Of giving back to the people that made them who they are, okay? With the moon card here, I see this idea of dreams. Big dreams. This is the kind of child that you're certainly going to, it's like you don't have to encourage them, they're going to encourage you. This idea that they stare up at the moon, they daydream, right? They night dream, they're constantly thinking about new goals, a new direction, pushing themselves, thriving. This card also speaks of secrecy, right? They could be one of those people that you have to draw information out of versus them offering up everything right off the bat. Even the sun itself, right? As beautiful and bright and vibrant as it is, there's something quite mysterious about it. What is underneath all those rays, all that color, all that hot liquid, right? What I want to get down to the layers, okay, of like who you are. And I see that here with the moon card. They don't wear everything on their sleeve. They're somebody that has to be unraveled to get into those deep inner thoughts that they have with that play card, right? Because they think very, very deeply. This is Pisces energy. Some people read it as Cancer as well. Again, another nod to water. With the Nine of Pentacles, a certain nod to independence, right? A self-made person. And again, this idea of get wild. Here's something very interesting. I see this person first as a traveler, somebody that wants to go out and experience the world. But I also see them as a colorful dresser. Their self-expression, even, they are like the sun, right? You look at them and you're like, what are you wearing? Perhaps they wear like a lot of bright, vibrant, sunny colors like this, right? They could even have like orangey, reddish hair, okay? With the Nine of Pentacles here, a strong sense of independence. They want to go out and experience things for themselves. I almost see like a stove and this idea of like, you know, getting burned, but they want to feel. They want to feel the things. When somebody tells them this tastes bad or this movie is horrible, they want to go out and see if that's the case. They almost are like testing in that regard, okay? There's a wildness to them that just cannot be contained. This is a person that is wildly independent, okay? With this Nine of Pentacles, they certainly could be attracted to fashion or something in that sense, right? But I also see that they could possibly be very intrigued by numbers. With this Queen of Pentacles, they could be very good at math. They could become like a mathematician or a math teacher, something to do with data even, perhaps like a nod to their like being analytical with computers or something like that, right? Data, coding even. I see that here with the Queen of Pentacles as well. Somebody that I feel might actually graduate early and might move out a little bit sooner, but I feel like you will trust that idea of trust again. They trust in the universe. They trust that they can always come back home if they mess up or they can't sustain themselves, right? You might feel differently, like, oh, no, you're 18 now, get out of my house, okay? But I also see here, I see that there's something like, you know, I can set you out into the world. You know that everything's going to be okay with your children, okay? You know that they are going to excel, and when they're in trouble, they will not hesitate to call on you because they have that trust with you, okay? You can let them go out and be a wild bird and to be free. They'll always find their way home when they need to. Beautiful. Let's see what we can get. I see here that with siblings, some of these, especially perhaps with twins, they might try to play favorites, right? Who is the favorite? Let's find out what mom and dad think, okay? They might fight for attention. They might fight the siblings, right? Or even like compete with one another to see who can be the best. But I don't see that in a negative way. I see that as siblings pushing themselves to be better. I also see that as something playful, like mom likes me more than she likes you. Maybe you were adopted or something like that, in a joking way, okay? Let's see what else we can get. gentle, passionate. We certainly see it with the color. Colorful, right? They are colorful. Again, perhaps orangey, reddish hair. Okay. This idea of you're just attracted to this person. They're so charismatic. There's something just deeply, this idea of the sun, right? Like people orbit around your children because they know there's a zest for life within them. They want to see if this happiness will rub off on them. Very nice. I see calm here as well. We had mentioned passionate and that fire, right? Playful, the card of play here. I see responsible here with the Queen of Pentacles, certainly falls in line, and Nine of Pentacles, independent, humorous, somebody with a great sense of humor. I almost sense here too that they will have a very adult sense of humor at a young age. They'll have almost perhaps even a dark sense of humor with the Moon card here, right? And you're like, what are you doing? Like, are you watching Adult Swim? Like, how do you have such an advanced adult type of sense of humor? It almost reminds me of like those Toy Story movies, right? Where it's like, sure, a child could certainly find that funny, but there are some jokes in those movies that are very adult jokes, right? I feel like your child will have that as well. Disciplined here, again, a go-getter. They want to live their own path. Patient. Somebody that knows that you have to put the work in to get a result, and you have to be consistent, okay? As I had mentioned data, right? I had mentioned numbers. Perhaps they work in the sciences in some regard, and they have patience. Certainly could be a nod to like a doctor with this gentleness, with this responsibility, and this compassion, a good bedside manner, right? Tasteful as well, not brash, not rude, raised of good stock. I'm getting good on you for raising your children in that way. Let's see what we can get in regards to tiles. Alrighty. We have DLILLNAVOSPNO. I get a couple things here. First, for some reason, little has really stuck out to me. Perhaps smaller in frame than other children, right? Certainly could be a nod to perhaps a birth that is premature, maybe, right? They're a little bit smaller in size. I also see here dill, which is quite interesting. I get two things from that. First, they could love pickles, right? This idea of dill, that could be something that you call them, like a little pickle or something like that, right? I also see Dylan as a possible name. That might stand out to you as well. I also see Lily or Lillian here. It's not about every single tile that's here. It's about what pops out to me, right? I wonder if perhaps you have some Native American ancestry, because I see Navajo, like Navajo, certainly could be, or even like where you're from, they could have a rich history, right? A big influence there. Interesting. Also a nod to this idea of like being connected with earth, right? Navajo, almost like that deep connection, right? I get spill here, another nod to water, but also this idea of like getting wild, spilling things. I see them in the kitchen wanting to make cookies, except they never asked you. You just wake up one morning and there's like flour all over the kitchen, right? I see science experiments here. I see perhaps a little bit clumsy even, right? Definitely needing put up the baby gates with your future children, right? They want to explore. They want to get into things. Perhaps they might spill a little bit along the way. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else that really pops out to me here. I see Nan here could certainly be a nod to the grandparents, right? I also see Spoon, perhaps a nod to wanting, being a little cuddler, right? That idea of warmth. They want to like burrow while I'm getting themselves next to you. Good luck getting these children out of your bed when they're of age to be in their own bed, right? They're going to want to come in and cuddle with mom, with dad, with whoever, right? And this idea of closeness attached at the hip. I'm getting that very tight bond here. I see dips here as well. This idea again of the water, of the ocean. Lots of references to water here. I think that's what is really standing out to me. Obviously, you're more than welcome to see if you find anything that resonates here with you as well. And you can always put them down in the comments for everybody else, okay? Let's get some charms for you. What was that? Okay. Alrighty. First, we have a snowflake. They could love to play in the snow. This idea again of like frolicking around in nature, right? They could come during the winter months is when they could be born. This idea of Christmas as well. Christmas could be their favorite holiday, okay? Let's see here. Uh-oh, we're stuck here. Okay, what is this? Okay, we've got some little ballet shoes tied with a bow. Certainly could be into dance, right? A little ballet dancer. I get that Tiny Dancer song in my head. Music, movement could be something that's very important to them. We've got these two gems here. First, they're light, beautiful color. They're the same color. Very interesting. Again, perhaps twins, two, right? Two of the same, two similar things. They could certainly be twins. I see too the calmness in their personalities here, this clarity. Even here, you see a little bit of warmth, right? A little bit of amber in there, a little bit of sun almost inside of there. Fire energy again. Blossoming flower. They could again nod to nature, to gardening, to plants, right? But here, somebody that I feel is thoughtful, remembers Mother's Day, remembers Father's Day, gets gifts, wants to be giving in that way, thoughtful in that way. I also see scrapbooking here for some reason. Perhaps like dried flowers, things of that nature will be important to them. Keepsakes and things like that. I see this too as digging out the layers of them, right, with all these petals, getting to that warm, beautiful center. They might not spit it all out right away. They might need a moment to warm up to people, right? Oh, this is so cute. It's like a little Tinkerbell almost on a moon. Again, a nod to their intuition, but just how magical they are. I feel like they almost feel like they fell off the moon, right? They fell off of this nod to like they were gifted to you from the gods, like a true gift to you. I see too, story could be very important to them. Perhaps Peter Pan specifically, because of this idea of Tinkerbell. Disneyland trips galore. I hope you like waiting in line, okay? Because I see multiple trips to Disneyland or Disney World here, to several theme parks. This idea again of wanting to be in this color, in this vibrant space with all kinds of auditory and visual stimulation. Okay, very nice. But also bedtime stories, okay? An avid reader, perhaps, okay? With this wing here, again, this idea of guided to you from the angels, a gift from the angels. But two, their nod to freedom, to wildness, right? Again, their heart is free. They're a wild child, okay? They want to find their own path wherever it is that their heart leads. I think too they will open up a part of your heart, again, that you felt was perhaps inaccessible. They help you grow and to become more compassionate, to become more loving, right? I feel too a departure here, which is quite interesting, in the heart, as in you're able to, perhaps if you had a rougher upbringing or you didn't feel loved in a way that felt like it added to your life, there's something about the way that your parents showed you love, or whoever raised you showed you love, that felt empty. You can give that to your child. You're like breaking the chain, I'm almost getting, in that generational way of how our ancestors might have not shown us the love and support that we needed when we were younger. Okay, this is a house full of hugs, full of I love yous. Okay, very, very nice. I see Candy here, a sweet tooth, perhaps. Somebody that is sweet and compassionate, but also that loves to partake. What's funny is this idea of Candy and this being a teething ring, right? Perhaps that's something that you'll have to watch out for when they're young. Make sure that they don't get too, they don't sneak out, sneak downstairs and get into the cookie jar too much, okay? Another heart, just a nod to love, a nod to family. I see this beautiful charm, like a circle, right? A circle, like something that just feels like it's come full circle, that it's become complete in your life. This one is a light pink one. That certainly could be a nod to feminine energy, but it doesn't have to be, because guys can wear pink too, right? This elephant here, a nod to their spirituality, perhaps a belief in a higher power. You certainly could be from India, right? They could have, again, a connection to India in their ancestry, not Native American, but Indian specifically, right, from India. The letter H here. These are stuck. Funny. There's a cat here with a peace sign. A cat. It's funny because when I saw this, I got this idea of like 9 lives, and then I got this 9 of Pentacles over the Get Wild card. This idea that they're constantly reinventing themselves. They're a different person every week. Expect a different hair color all the time, right? Different haircuts, different clothes that really express who they are in different stages. I heard this quote once. From Lady Gaga, of all people, and she had mentioned that your future child could be quite artistic too, and that's why I'm getting this particular example. She had mentioned that she had gone into a museum and she had seen a Warhol painting, and she looked at it and she couldn't figure out why it didn't look like a Warhol, his signature kind of looks, right? And she actually got upset and started to cry in front of this painting because she couldn't figure out why it didn't look like a Warhol, and she realized that she was that painting. She was an expression of Andy Warhol as he was growing into his voice, right? Before he had determined his style. And I see that here, the constant transitions here, these 9 lives, right? 9 different careers, 9 different interests, constantly evolving and changing. Cats are always also, for me, a nod to the intuition, right? The known unknown, just a nod that they will be very intuitive. And the peace sign here as well, a nod to their peaceful, gentle, and calm demeanor. What else do we have? An owl. They certainly could be a night owl, right? Very curious, can see the world from different perspectives, right? I also see an inquisitive mind. Who, as a question, right? Like who, what, where, when. I need to know all the details, right? They always want that information. Again, another nod to flight, to freedom, perhaps, right? An apple, a nod to health, right? I see that you're going to have to tame these little ones, on any junk food addictions, right? Eat your vegetables. No, I don't want to. Eat your vegetables, right? I can see that here with the apple. I see this too as like your children being the apple of your eye. A hairpin certainly could be a nod to if you have girls, right, wanting to play dress up, right? I can see this as a wand as well, right? This idea of playing princess or something like that, right? Having little tea parties, and wanting to paint the nails, paint your nails even, paint dad's nails even, right? I see this as that expression, right? We also have a religious iconography here, okay? Certainly, this thing about spiritualism, they could go through stages where they're exploring what is God to me? Is there a God, right? What is spirituality to me? They could anchor down into this, or again, a Buddhism perhaps, or something more nature oriented, right? Something, a higher power certainly is going to be a belief of theirs. And then another feather or a leaf, it could go both ways. Again, a feather could certainly indicate autumn months, as they're like an autumn baby. I get like a new leaf too, as in they're constantly shedding and emerging, growing, right? And again, a nod to angels. Blessed by the angels, guided by the angels, protected by the angels, but also an angel in your life, right? A gift from the heavens above. Alrighty, pile number 3, that was your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it gave you some insight and some hope, and that you're already in love with these little babies, that you're going to have twins, possibly, perhaps even 2 sets of twins, right? Because 2 to 5, you're going to be busy. You are going to be busy. Time to practice your meditation now, okay? Alrighty, I want to thank you again so much for watching. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the comments section below. And again, if you find anything in the tiles that I missed that really stands out here, put those in the comments as well for others to see. Alrighty, good luck, stay safe, stay healthy. I hope you're practicing your self-care, and hopefully I see you in my next video. Bye-bye. Alrighty, if you picked the last mobile charm, this cute little cuddly cloud that makes a bit of a rattle noise when you shake it, then this is the reading for you on your future child or children. Okay, just looking at this cloud, certainly there's a sense of happiness, right, in the expression. There's something sweet and tender about your children, perhaps shy with the blush around the cheeks, right? Somebody a bit more timid, perhaps. I get water from this, from the idea of cloud formation, right? Perhaps they are a water sign, a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces, somebody that is a big dreamer, head in the clouds, a daydreamer, right? Your children certainly are inspired. I'm getting to push themselves to great heights here. There could be a nod to love of aviation as well, a love of travel, right? This idea of being in the clouds with your future child as well. I also, I can't escape the coloring, right? This idea of this white, there's almost like a purity and innocence to it, even perhaps a naivety to it, okay? That you will help them nurture as they grow into adults. Like a clean karmic path here for your future child. There's something about them that could be quite spiritual as well, right? Spiritual or religious, however that resonates with them, because that is something that is quite personal. I'd like to roll the dice for you and see what it is that, how many children you might have. Now, I rolled 2 dice and give you a range. I don't like giving one definitive number, because at any moment you could change your mind. You can decide to not have any children, right? Or you can decide to have more, perhaps even adopt children, right? There are many ways to become a parent. So let's start with 1 dice and we'll see what we get. 2 and 6. So between 2 and 6 children, you're going to be very busy. If you go for the latter, right? Between 2 and 6 children. Very interesting. I almost wonder if perhaps some of these children will come as twins because of this idea of the 2, right? And 2 3s, pairs, right? Perhaps coming in pairs, okay? I'm going to see too when it is that you will have these children, when you will conceive the first one, okay? To get you on the trajectory of when it is that you're going to become a parent, or when you're going to become a parent again, because you certainly can be watching this as somebody that is already a parent but wants to know about any potential future children, okay? We're going to do this as years, like 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, from whenever it is that you watch this video, on when it is that you will conceive your first of the 2 to 6 children on the spread, okay? Three years, okay, so you've got some time. I really like using the pendulum for this, and the reason why is because it doesn't just give us a time frame, right, of when this might come into fruition, when you will conceive this child, but it also gives us an idea, if you're not in union yet, of that perhaps approaching quickly, right? Because you'll get married. Obviously, yeah, everybody has their own way of doing things. You don't have to be married to have a child, right? But if you're looking for a union before you have children, okay, perhaps within the next year or two, you will meet that person, you will date that person, marry that person, have a child, and it will help you gauge, right, when a future partner will be coming into your life as well, not just when you will conceive your child. Let's see what we can get in regards to personality for these children, okay? For pile number 4, please. As you know, I generally only take jumpers and flippers in my readings, so I always ask that people be patient with me in the shuffles, okay? What else can you tell me, please, about the personality for the children? Pile number 4, please, for our fluffy little clouds. I almost get like light as a feather, like a light personality with that cloud, right? Perhaps a drifter, right? Somebody that kind of drifts from here to there. They could certainly have a love of traveling as well. For pile number 4, please, what can you tell me? All right. The card of movement wanted to show its face there. All right. Oh, I love this. Now, the first card out is the card of surrender. You know what's funny is I feel like this actually has more to do with you than it does with your future children. And the reason that I say that is because there's this tree here, right? And there's things that fall and wilt off the tree, this idea of letting go and allowing nature to take its course. Perhaps you've had some difficulty getting pregnant if you're watching this, right? Or you worry, will this child ever come? I want a family so badly. Will I meet somebody? Will I be able to have children, right? This card, I feel, is actually more about you in the process of bringing these children to life than it is about your children themselves. The tree, the family tree, right? We need to surrender to the notion of the family tree. There's something about releasing that, almost like we're putting so much pressure on it, perhaps, that we're blocking the blessing from coming in. Our fear of not having it is almost sending a reverse signal to the universe that you're afraid to actually get it, okay? So I feel like this surrender card is actually more advice for you than it is information about your future child. And this card of the sovereign right next to it confirms that for me, okay? This sovereign, this is something that is initiated, that is fated, that is brought down from the heavens, right? There is something definitive about this sovereignty, as in, as we look at the idea of a sovereign, right? Of a king, of a knight, of a queen, perhaps. We see that they are given that title by birth, as in it is theirs, it is already theirs to claim. And this is kind of a nod here for you, that these children will be a gift to you that are already yours. There's no need to worry about whether you'll have them or not. Just surrender to the process. And when the time is right, okay, the universe will rain down with this sovereignty, with this gift, this blessing that is destined for you. You're already crowned. It's just a matter of time of when you get to see it shimmer on your head, okay? Very, very beautiful. In regards to your future child, I see, again, this idea of of light, airy, but also this air of nobility to them, okay? This could be certainly in how they're raised, right? They could, you could be set up well financially, and they come into this place of privilege, right? You could also certainly descend from royalty or from a long storied history of kings and queens, right? We're all from somewhere, so I wouldn't doubt the possibility, okay? I also see here as this idea that your future children will know that they are special. Perhaps if you've had trouble conceiving, you might consider this as like a miracle baby, okay? Your miracle children. I see like things like IVF. Perhaps that will increase your odds of having twins, right? That process. You might see them as a miracle, but they themselves see themselves as somebody with a very definitive path. I see your future child as somebody that will help the world in some capacity. They could even be, as I mentioned, that nod to spirituality, to religion perhaps. They could be a preacher. They could be a spiritual guru in some sense, right? Either way, connected to the universe in that way. Very, very beautiful. A strength here, right? They recognize their own royalty, okay? Even in people that are shy and understated. In fact, usually the shyest people are the strongest, if you've ever noticed that, right? Because they have a rich internal world. They don't need to suck the life out of the external world to bring it in. They're content with what is already inside. And so I feel that very strongly here with the card of the Sovereign. There's a lot of seashells here. Again, another nod, perhaps to them being a water sign in particular, okay? The moon here, this idea of intuition, of being very well connected, could be a nod to Pisces also. The warrior here, this is air energy for me, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The sword, the truth teller, right? Somebody, again, this nod to nobility, okay? I see this here as somebody that is honest, that is trustworthy, and that is worthy of being trusted, okay? They trust the universe as well. They trust their own power. We had mentioned that here with the Sovereign card. You know, what's funny is this is very much air energy for me, like the Ace of Swords, right? But I also almost get like this idea of like a thirst for power, perhaps like surrender to me, the sovereign. I am your leader, a natural born leader, right? Somebody that knows that they are going to be the boss, the CEO. They're going to reign. They are going to manage over other people. You might notice that from when they're young, right? That they boss people around, perhaps, right? They tell all the other kids in the playground what they can and can't play with. All the kids in the neighborhood come to them for advice and almost for permission, I'm getting, right? They have a strong, powerful presence in that regard. The funny thing about the warrior is that although warriors are typically intimidating and strong and bold, and they don't back down to fears, right? Most of the warriors, especially like the ones you see in movies and stuff, right? Notice that they're always quite quiet. They're always very contemplative. They don't brag about, the superhero doesn't spend their time bragging about how great they are, right? They spend their time worrying about the world, worrying about their truth, about living according to their purpose. And I see that very much here. A shy warrior, internal strength that some people might mistake as a weakness and find out later, when this blade comes out, that they have the wrong one with your future children, okay? The card of higher perspective, I love that we end this particular portion of the spread here, because we're talking about clouds, right? Again, head in the clouds, higher perspective, very much in tune with their intuition. This is Pisces for me, okay? They have a strong connection to spirit, to their guides, to their ancestors, to the cosmic orchestra of the universe. This person, I would not be shocked if they are gifted in their own way, if they are incredibly intuitive. They feel like they know events before they happen. They know what people are thinking. I see that here in this spread also, okay? Very, very interesting. Let's see what else we can get for your future children. This person might be, these children, excuse me, could certainly be quite active, right? But I see them doing things that are kind of untraditional. For example, this idea of the warrior, of the sword, I get speech, truth, clarity, right? From this. They could be like in the debate club. They could be on the fencing team. Things that are a little bit elevated. There's something prestigious about them, okay? I also see the warrior, this sword that cuts straight through the brain, as somebody quite smart, quite contemplative. They come up with game plans of how it is that they're going to win the spelling bee, right? Instead of just studying, they know that they have to prioritize, they have to plan. This is somebody quite analytical. They would make a great lawyer. They would make a great scientist. Anything that requires the use of the brain, a teacher, a writer, right? Something that perhaps requires a higher level of education. So start saving now, because you might need to be pouring some money out to a prestigious college soon, okay? Very, very nice. For pile number 4, please. What can you tell me about the personality for the children in pile number 4, please? We're going to come back to that. What else can you tell me, please? For the people in pile number 4, please, the children, what can you tell me about their personality, please? For pile number 4. We have been seeing that Queen of Pentacles quite a bit. One more card, please, for pile number 4. Alrighty. A lot of air energy coming up again, okay? I see a couple things. First, the Emperor is at the bottom of the deck. This is Aries in particular. A nod to leadership, bossy pants over here, okay? Natural born leaders I'm getting. With the Empress, I thought this was very interesting because I had mentioned that this particular card, I got the feeling that this energy was more yours than it was theirs. Perhaps you are the Empress, the nurturer, right? Certainly it speaks of feminine energy, but any parent, right, can take both the mother and father roles, okay? I see here that this is you, again, a confirmation of what I got there in the intuition, that you are the one that needs to surrender and to let go of the fear of not having, because that can block your blessings in this regard, okay? I also see here with the Queen of Swords, another nod to the analytical, the no BS of the warrior. They are nice, but don't push them, okay? Your children know how to advocate for themselves, and that is such a incredibly strong trait to have. Okay, growing up, especially in this world, there are a lot of people that try to take advantage of us, to hurt us, to bully us. Your children will have absolutely none of it, okay? They know how to stand up for themselves. They speak with a clarity, with a truth, and they only entertain the truth, okay? Again, this nod to not being afraid to take up their sword when they need to. If there's a bully on the playground, your future children are the ones that will confront that bully and set them straight on their path so that they don't do it again, okay? You are raising some very strong children with a very direct moral compass. Kudos to you for that, okay? The Queen of Swords with the Sovereign here, again, a nod to nobility, a nod to the fact that it's not that your children feel like they're better than anybody, but they know there's something special about them, you know? And that's not arrogant. That is just a deep knowing of why you were made, what your purpose is, okay? I see here too this idea of the preacher, of the sovereign, right? Of the guru, perhaps delivering that truth to others. People congregate around your children's court, and hear the truths come from the royal's mouth itself. Somebody with a lot of knowledge to share with the world. I feel very strongly with your particular pile that there is something quite unique in your future children's careers, where they shepherd people together. They are like a refuge for people. They could even be somebody that works in social justice in some capacity, or as a lawyer with refugees, this idea of bringing people. I get like the city on the hill, right? I get this idea of the Statue of Liberty even here. Interesting. with the Queen of Pentacles here, again, smart and career-minded from a young age, very good with money, and they will achieve a very reasonable amount of financial success in their life, okay? Completely financially independent, and not just independent in the sense that they can provide for themselves, but they're charitable with that money. I almost get like a Robin Hood here, not to steal from the rich to give to the poor, but to become rich so that they could give to the poor and those less fortunate, okay? With this Eight of Swords, the biggest issue that your children will have is getting out of their minds, okay? So much air energy, so much logic and truth. Things have to make sense for your future children. And some things don't make sense all the time, like love, right? Or like bigger questions that we want to ask sometimes about where we come from, why we're here, those big life questions, right? This can get in their way a little bit. Trying to rationalize everything can make them feel a little bit trapped, okay? But for every negative, right, there is a positive. That ability to very unique, in a very unique way, I'm getting, see things that other people don't see, come up with ideas that other people do not come up with. There's something quite brilliant about the mind, but also the downfall to brilliance is a lack of understanding when it comes to things like love, when it comes to things like those things that can't be explained, like what I guess people would consider like the paranormal, right? Emotions, right? That is where your nurturing, loving touch is going to be needed, to teach them this softness, because the strength is already there. It's already built in, okay? You're going to be the one that teaches them to surrender too. Hey, you know what? What if you didn't have a 30-point plan for just what you're going to do tomorrow, right? What if tomorrow you just relaxed and let things flow? I feel like your gentle, loving nature is going to help them to develop this, okay? With the Six of Swords, again, an idea of evolution, of constant movement, of constantly learning something about the self, very much into self-help and self-improvement, your future children. I get the idea, too, of rowing. I had mentioned sports that were unique, activities that were unique, rowing in particular, perhaps, or sailing. There's something strategic about that also allows you to travel, which I can see is quite important to them. I had mentioned aviation as well, and I see that here, a vessel that takes you to different places, right? Certainly this could be a boat, but it could also be an airplane. You might have a little pilot on your hands. This idea of being in the clouds, they want their head in the clouds literally, okay? Very, very nice. I see here too that this person's brain is always expanding. Their perspective is always changing. They're always learning and growing, which is so beautiful, because sometimes as we grow, we get stuck in our ways, right? I heard a quote the other day, and I believe it was something along the lines of, the hardest thing to teach a man is the thing that he already thinks he knows. It takes some time to let that marinate, right? When we think we already know things, it's very hard for us to change our ways, to teach an old dog new tricks. And that will not be a restriction on how it is that your future children evolve. I see these children as perhaps being early bloomers in regards to wanting to move out early, right? Doogie Howser, right? 13 and doing open heart surgery, okay? They certainly could be a doctor as well with this high brain power. I want to point out too, I don't think I mentioned this, but with this Eight of Swords, this idea of being trapped in their own thoughts, perhaps overthinking things, overanalyzing things sometimes. Notice that on the Warrior card, right? This sword carves right through the brain, and I often say that looks painful, right? There is something quite brilliant about that, but also it could hurt a little bit to think that deeply, to have a sword penetrating your brain in that fashion. And we see that represented here in the Eight of Swords. Okay. All right, let's get some more things about their personality, and then we'll move on to some tiles and some charms. So tile number 4 is future children. Okay. One more. All right. Protective, yeah, the warrior. What did I say? They are going to be the one that bullies the bully, and not in a bad way, right? In a don't pick on my little brother or sister kind of way, or you're going to feel my wrath, okay? They're not afraid. They have that courage to stick up for what is right, even, and this is important. Ooh, I just got this. Even when they know they'll lose. Even if there's a 6 foot tall bully bullying their brother or sister, they will stand up for what is right. Okay, I have free thinking here. The thinking is very important to them. Kind, right? Very kind, sweet. I think this tie to a higher power perhaps is what helps them do that. Humorous. I see a very witty humor, very perhaps even dry humor, right? Because of the fact that these swords penetrate through the brain, they tell jokes that other people won't get. Nerdy jokes, perhaps. I get, what is that show? There is a show about... It's going to kill me to not remember the name of that show. If I do remember, I will link it down below in the same comment that I keep the timestamps on, just underneath the timestamps, okay? Third Rock from the Sun, I believe. It's like a nerdy, dorky show. I say that with love because I think nerds rule the world, okay? I love being nerdy. It's one of those shows where, like, you have to understand physics, you have to understand these things in order to get the joke. Your children too, I'm almost getting they possibly could be very good at math, okay? A subject that scares a lot of people. A lot of people are math phobic. We have the card of intelligent here. Another nod to the knowledge, right? The brain doing all that work. I also see too, again, perhaps multiple degrees and advanced degrees, PhDs and things of that nature. Very disciplined. Again, a 30-point checklist, right, on what it is that they want to get accomplished and to do in their life. I almost get, there's a possibility, right, that your future child, or one of them at least, could end up in the military. This idea of service, of a high moral code, of being the warrior, right, of sticking up for the underdog. And that discipline, that military type discipline. You get up at 5, you eat at 5:15, you take a shower at 5:30, right? That like militaristic beat of the drum, okay? I see open here. They're open to new ideas, this idea of the higher perspective here, okay? And lastly, I get sentimental here. Again, I feel like this is that softness that you as the Empress will build into them, okay? Very, very beautiful. Let's get some tiles for you. We'll get first, middle, and last name initials, and we'll also get some keywords for you, okay? And then we'll move on to some charms. A blank tile, okay. Now, we have FABINMCOTRE and blank. If this one of your future children ends up being a writer, I certainly can see that here in the tiles, this idea of a pen name, right? Of writing under a pseudonym, perhaps, right? I see fab like fabulous. There's something quite fabulous about this child. There's something so unique about your children, okay? They stand out. The word fame also came to mind, right? Perhaps they are well known. Think of like an Elon Musk or a well-known, I had mentioned Doogie Howser, but perhaps they are well known in their field, okay? There's a bit of fame here that will come their way, okay? I also see fabric. Certainly could be a nod to fashion. We have the Queen of Pentacles and the Empress here. I always get those beautiful robes, right? This idea of really being extravagant, perhaps a very a unique way of dress. I also see caught here. Now, what could that mean, right? I almost see it as mascot. Again, a nod to Ivy League educations. I see Ivy here as well, okay? Ivy, a doctor even with Ivy, right? This person could work in medicine, okay? I keep saying this person. Forgive me, please. I know that we're talking about a collection of people here, okay? I see rib here as well as this idea almost like cut from the same cloth. They are a part of you. Perhaps you think the same way, right? There's something about you that loves the intellectual side of things, okay? I see brim, like brimming with opportunity, with ideas, with deep thoughts. Certainly the name Tom is here. I try to stay away from names because names are something so personal, but if it's something basic like that, I'll mention it. I see Inc. here too. I see Inc. and CEO, perhaps their own corporation, a leader in their field in that regard. I also see heart as in love, this idea of the sentimental. This is somebody that, even though they're like Mr. or Mrs. Smarty Pants, right? They will always come home. There's something about home that is comforting, that is warm, that is soft. And they look for that softness in their life. The word soft coming up too, as I say that. This is somebody that your children would highly recommend keeping their baby blankets. Soft fabric sticks into my mind. There's something, again, soothing almost, that they're going to want those little keepsakes for themselves as they get older, perhaps keeping them in a bin in the attic or something, right? Bin and attic are also show up here as well. Very, very nice. Let's see what charms we get for you. If you find any other keywords that I may have missed that you feel really resonate with the reading, please share them down below with pile number 4 and then any keywords that you find, okay? I know that it helps other people as they scroll through the comments. Alrighty. We have the Eiffel Tower. Now, I see this as shooting for the stars, right? This idea of height, of ascension, right? They are on their way up the mountain, okay? There is no height too high for them to achieve. Like your future children will be like, what if we owned the Eiffel Tower? How can we try to buy that, right? Like nothing would seem ridiculous. As difficult as it might seem, they would try, they will venture. We get this infinity and this love here. I think first an idea that your love for each other, right, will always be a close-knit bond, and between the siblings as well. They will always remain like this with one another, even through the little fights here and there, right? They'll always be bonded. They'll always take care of each other. But I also see this as this destiny, this thing that we are surrendering to because we know it's coming, right? These red lips, certainly you could have a daughter, you could have a son that loves to wear beautiful, bold red lipstick like this, right? I had mentioned this idea of fashion, perhaps beauty as well, right? Could be something that they go into. But I also see this as auditory, right? A brilliant speaker with the swords that we have here, the mind, right? Perhaps they speak in front of people, and that's where we get the fame, the nods of fame. I see fate here as well, okay? Fair as well. Very interesting, fair and balanced, right? This moral code that we see. Fate as in they are fated to be yours, okay? A little reindeer here. I see this as first there's a nod to independence here, right? Being a bit of grounded within the earth, perhaps somebody that ends up being vegan or vegetarian, okay? A love of animals, but also they could really enjoy Christmas, right? Coming home for Christmas, that idea again of them always coming home and wanting to be in the warm surround of their family. A little bird here, a nod to travel, a nod to movement, to expansion, and always spreading your wings. But I also see this in regards to speech, right? They could have a large social media following of some sort, right? Think of that little Tweety bird. A fan. They could have fans because of this fame. We see fan here in the tiles as well. Okay, I see this too as their passion for whatever it is they choose to pursue. Sometimes they need to slow down. That's going to be one of your child's biggest issues, is not going for every single thing, right? For fear of burnout. I almost get like this need to cool down, to calm down, right? Some religious iconography here, certainly that nod to spiritualism, to ascension, right? To perhaps having a religious belief, right? We have a peace symbol here, a calm nature, their kindness, right? Looking for peace, perhaps a warrior for peace, a social justice warrior for peace, or a lawyer for peace. Think of like even like the United Nations, Amal Clooney, right? Out there trying to make world peace happen, okay? This moon, a nod to the intuition again. I see this too as attachment. As independent as they are, the relationship with the parents, right, is something that it's like a bond that it almost can't be explained. I almost wonder if in the course of your child's life, your children's lives, some people might say like they seem a little cold, right, with all this steel, all these sharp edges, but then they see them around the family and they think, wow, I never realized all this depth and all this warmth and kindness that this person has. We have a little bee, again, another nod to perhaps honey, this idea of veganism, vegetarianism. Actually, I don't know if honey in particular is vegan. It might be vegetarian. I think it depends. Some people might consider that vegan and not vegan, okay? I think there's some conflicting information depending on who you ask. But I see this also as buzzing, constantly buzzing with opportunity, with ideas, okay? Their brain is always on. The electric pulses are always going and their gears always moving. A leaf here. Now, this certainly could speak to their attachment to family, to this idea of surrender, letting the leaves fall, the chips fall where they may, and embracing the future, right? Not fearing that it won't come to fruition. But also the autumn months. We could, with this reindeer too, it could be a nod to winter months, as in when some of these children will be born. Another love card. A love charm, and we have a globe, again, world traveler. This almost looks like a microphone as well. I know it's a globe, but it can look like a microphone. Again, this thing about speaking, okay? Another tree, I feel like just firmly rooted in family. They are a loyal person. When they go into their relationships, into their marriages, they will be loyal to their partners. A little candy, perhaps a sweet tooth, right? Perhaps that's one of the reasons that they always like to come home. They want to taste mom or dad's pie, or the desserts that only they make in a very special way, right? Get to cooking, right? It's time to learn. This butterfly, a nod to this constant transformation, a reinventing of themselves, but also this openness to newness, to learning, okay, and to change. Some more hearts here with a tree, with a family tree. Again, another family tree here. We've gone through that extensively, okay? I get like home is where the heart is here. Family, wherever family is, that's where home is, and home is where the heart is, okay? And this flower here, this idea of blossoming, of coming into your own, of being not being afraid of being vulnerable, even, like I said, in situations where you might lose, still taking that risk to open up and to explore and to expand, okay? A key, I see this as them being a key to your heart, but also something about what you guys learn from each other unlocks a lot of things in your hearts, in your minds, right? This looks like another leaf, okay? We have some angel wings, again, this idea that they are the sovereign. They are brought down from the heavens. They are your little angel gifts, right? Very, very nice. And just a nod, I think that everything is going to be okay, that they are protected. Perhaps one of your guides or a relative that has passed away, an angel that looks out for them for you, which is so beautiful. Last one is made with love. They certainly could be into crafts and things of that nature, right? Making things by hand. I get like fabricate here also, right? They could be in the business of fabrication, making parts or pieces for something. This idea of crafts turns into something more technical, right? Where they use that in business later on. But I also just get this idea that you made them with love. Right? Love was the process of bringing them into the world. I can't think of a better charm to end this reading on. Pile number 4, that was your reading. Any questions, comments, please leave them down below. Let me know if the reading resonates with you. And again, if you find anything in the tiles that I missed, please be sure to let me know. As always, it's my absolute pleasure to do these readings for you. I hope that you found something of value in it, some hope for the future. I hope that it gave you some information, not just on the children that you'll have, but the type of parent that you'll be, okay? Alrighty, pile number 4, thank you again for spending your Saturday with me. Hopefully I see you in my next video. Bye-bye.